is Milo, and this is Milo's roadmap to success. Now, Milo, being a 14-week-old puppy, he's actually a pretty smart puppy. And his guardian has done a really good job. I mean, I've had dogs that are adults that can't sit. You already know, sit, lie down, calm. He's doing good on the puppy pads. Yeah, I'm talking about you. You're doing a great job, buddy. Yeah. So one of the things I recommend the guardian does is look into a puppy socialization class. Remember, for puppy socialization, we want a class that's going to be not too big of a class. They should be separated by age, not by age, but by breed. It should be for puppies only, not a socialization for all dogs, only puppies. We want them to be around other dogs the same age and maturity level, so they can learn lessons like not biting and nipping, or how hard to bite and nip, and things along those lines. A good class is going to have half of the class is a socialization play period, usually the last half. First half will be some lessons. Now, if the class starts showing you some things that you already know how to do, that's okay. You can just go ahead and skip over that part, or just kind of nod as they're going along. Now, remember, if they're doing anything that is contrary to what we went over today, or you're unsure of, feel free to call me or ask me. I want you to reach out to me if you have questions. But it should be positive reinforcement based only, no punishment, no choke chains, no prong collars, nothing that's going to cause pain or the fear of pain or any force. We want him to learn to make his own decisions so that we don't have to micromanage him for the rest of his life. But it's really important to socialize a puppy. You won't see the puppy's full personality until they're 6 months. And it's really important we socialize them, especially around other dogs and people, until they're about 9 months of age. Luckily he gets to go to work. Make sure that we're at the work area. We kind of hide or prevent him from getting to the power cords because he likes those. We don't want him to develop bad habits. If we have to get a little puppy play gate. Oh yeah, you're gonna go get the alligator, huh? I don't know what this is.
It's a bunny rabbit.
Bunny rabbit. All right, you get the rabbit. And so that we have a safe area that we can put him in. We don't really want to use the leash too much. We don't want to activate his opposition reflex and have him practice pulling against the leash. We might set up a session eventually, or you might find somebody who can teach you to get him to walk at a heel. But being a little dog, at this stage, especially because it doesn't have all the shots, air walks would probably be appropriate anyways. Okay. I did show the guardian how to use a martingale collar and a special twist of leash. If you have a pug, you don't want to have a traditional neck collar like this. Martingale is good because we have a special twist of leash, and the leash actually cinches around the chest. That's where all the tension is. These guys don't breathe all that great, and so you don't want to use a harness typically for dogs like that, but harnesses are designed for dogs to pull. So you have a dog that pulls, and you have a harness, you're going to have a formula that's not going to be very happy for the human. Let me see. Remember, it takes a week after he gets his last shot before he is immunized. I would hold off. Some states it's required to do the rabies shot at a certain age. I would try to do the rabies shot after 6 months. Join some rescue groups on, not rescue, but pug groups on Facebook, and post some pictures, make some friends there, and that way you have questions about neutering and an age to neuter him, or food questions, or breed-specific questions. It's nice to have some resources. You'll have some hotheads there, just ignore those people, but you'll find a couple of people that you do like. All right, things we don't ever want to do for potty training are rub the dog's nose in it or yell at the dog when it has an accident in the house, because what we mean to say is don't go in the house. What the dog hears is the human gets mad when I pee or poop, but guess what? I got to do that like 5 times a day. So instead of telling the human I have to potty, I'm going to go hide behind the couch and do it there. So when it comes to potty training, we want to use positive reinforcement only. What we do is we wait for the dog to pee or poop. As soon as it does, we say the word potty in his case, within 3 seconds of him starting. Then as soon as he gets done, I pop the treat in his mouth and say the word potty a second time within 3 seconds of him finishing. This way we are linking the action with the command word and with the reward. And after you do it enough, you can say potty, and if he bounces up and down, you know that's a yes. If you say potty and he looks at you or just keeps on chewing, you know he doesn't need to go. But that's only once he's established it. Now, again, his neurons are still developing. So if you're doing training, make sure you keep training sessions less to maybe 60 to 90 seconds maximum. What we did here today was 3 hours, but we weren't really working with him that much. We were mostly working with going over tips and tricks. And so the neurons get tired, and then you get frustrated that the dog's not performing. Usually the first minute you get the best performance. Second minute you'll start getting some negative responses. Third minute you get even more, and then you get frustrated, and he's frustrated about it, and he doesn't want to do it again. Always end on a good one. And again, keep them nice and short. And it's best to do them throughout the day, multiple times, short little practice sessions. It's best to have him nap or sleep in between practices. Dogs file away what they learn when they nap. And so giving him the yes, oh yes, he's ferocious. But giving him the ability to sleep will help him learn and recall things better. Let me see what else. The growling here is, oh! That was awesome. He went into a sit. So that's kind of the yelping that we talked about in the above video. There we go. Let me see. Going back to work, if we can take him to work, if he just starts getting barking, I would like to have the guardian get a little laser, a little one, and get a chain so she can have it as a medallion or a pendant. And that way you have it with you at all times. If he starts chewing the wrong thing, you can put it on the floor and then zip him around the corner. Always zip it around the corner before you take the finger off of it, so he runs around the corner looking for it. And then he'll spend a couple minutes looking to see where it is. Let me see, what else? Don't use it. If you're holding the laser, if he looks at it, he'll see the dot here. Don't ever let him look at the laser. So he looks at you, take your finger off the trigger. That way he only associates looking for the little red dot that doesn't smell like anything. Let me see, what else did we go over? Petting with a purpose. So if he nudges me and I pet him, he's telling me what to do. And after a while, that tells him that he's in charge of me. So instead, when he nudges me, scratches at me, and barks at me for attention, what I'm going to do is say, sit. Sit. Remember, when petting, always try to pet under the chin whenever possible to facilitate that nose-up orientation, which is good. And then we're just going to say the word sit, or potty, or come, or whatever it is. Now, when you're redirecting him, if he's scratching or jumping up on you, if you pet him, you're reinforcing that. Anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what you're reinforcing. So instead, when he's jumping up on me, I redirect him into a sit. When he sits, I pet him under his chin, and I just say the word sit. After a while, he'll come and sit in front of you to prepay for attention. And that's a polite way of asking for attention. We call that manding. Now, the other, one of the easiest ways to train a dog is what I call passive training. So if he just came to me, I could pet him within 3 seconds and say, come. Now, I would prefer not to pet on top of the head for the reasons I talked about earlier off camera. But every time he comes to you, if you pet him and say, come, then after a while, come just means come to the human and get some attention and some love. And so then when you actually ask him to come, he's inclined to do it because he gets attention when he does that. So everything that he does that's a repeatable command that you want him to do on a regular basis, crash, or chill, excuse me, is what the guardian wants you to do. So every time he lays down on his own accord, we don't ask him to do it, we don't lure him, we just wait for him to do it naturally, organically, and just recognize and reward it by saying the command word and only the command word. Not good sit, just sit, come. And he doesn't even, he's like, whatever, I'm playing with the alligator, I'm not even paying attention to you. That's fine. He's still hearing the word when he did the action that I wanted. And after a while, it's an easy way to train your dog. All right, let me see, what else? Potty train. A lot of having a dog is redirecting their attention. He was starting to chew on the laces of my shoe, so I made a kissing sound, and I dropped something. It's kind of like the video I talked about above, dropping baby carrots. So now when he dropped it, he gave up that because that's not moving, this is, and this tastes really good, and I want to chew on it, so now we've redirected him to something appropriate, and he's very content to do it, and I didn't make the laces the forbidden fruit. If I made a big deal out of it, he's going to go looking for laces because that got the big guy's attention. Dogs want attention, and good attention from us and bad attention from us is pretty much the same thing. Okay, let me see, petting with a purpose and passive training. If you get in the habit of doing those two things, every time you pet your dog, it's a mini dog training session that you do, and you'll do it for the rest of your dog's life. You'll have a very well-behaved and trained dog. Come up with fun command words. You can say sit or down and all the stuff you already have, that's fine. But for new words, come up with something that's funny. I would, again, recommend having the roommate come up with a couple of these so he's engaged in the dog with a little bit. Sit, that's passive training. He sat on his own, I'm just rewarding him after he did it on his own. Also come up with a naughty dog name for him. Chill. So every time that he does something wrong or he's about to get in trouble, and you could say Nicodemus or whatever the word is, then he knows he's about to get in trouble. And every time he hears his name, he's like, oh, I'm going to come and get myself some love and attention. Right? Yes. Let me see. Drop. Teaching him a drop. Now he has this in his mouth. I don't have any treats with me. If he's holding it like he is now, I don't want to do it. When he has something in his mouth, like the rabbit or anything else, we want to have a treat, hold it in front of his nose, touch his nose. As soon as he drops it, pop the treat in his mouth and say the word drop. Don't go for the item. So he'll finish chewing it, and then he picks up the bunny rabbit or whatever it is and runs away. What we're teaching him is if the human asks you to drop and you drop your stuff, they'll give you something awesome, and then you get your stuff back. Then later on when he steals a pair of shoes or something you don't want, you say drop, and he's happy to drop because he's programmed to get whatever the reward is. Don't give him inappropriate items like old socks, old shoes, old water bottles. We want him to not develop a habit of that. Now, if you go to my website, doggoneproblems.com/quest-ed, there is a section on puppy training. If you go to start at the beginning, you'll see on the first page, setting up a puppy playpen. I think it's like preparing for the puppy before it comes home. I would recommend the guardian sets up the puppy playpen around the corner, get vinyl flooring or something you can lay down on the carpet, put the puppy playpen on top of it, brace it. You might have to brace it with a weight or something like that so he can't move it out. And then fill it full of all sorts of great dog toys. Go to Chewy or Amazon to get your toys instead of Petco or PetSmart. It's a lot easier or cheaper. Now, you should have pull toys like pieces of rope. You should have hard toys like bones or antlers. You should have plushy toys that make a squeak. These are plushless toys, but they have a little squeaker, which dogs are very interested in. I also would recommend getting some treat dispensing toys. On Quest Ed, it talks about how feeding your dog out of toys can increase their dog's intelligence. I have a link to the toys that I like using. So I would use those toys for when you're feeding him for the next couple months. So if I chew on this elephant, nothing happens as a dog. But if I chew on this toy, food comes out of it. Well, I'd rather get the food or the treat, so I'm not going to chew on the elephant or develop a habit of chewing the elephant or the credenza or whatever it is. The dog gets in a habit of chewing toys because they pay out. Other things do not. So I would feed him in the puppy play area for about 2 months. He should sleep in the puppy play area. When you set up the puppy play area, set up your rectangle, and then instead of joining them together, join the two ends to the kennel. So the kennel is like here. We have the puppy play area. Well, if you go to Quest Ed, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you have little clips. You can attach those to the puppy playpen and get a soft thing inside the playpen in the kennel, but nowhere else. Everywhere else, it's just linoleum flooring. So the only soft place to sleep is inside the kennel. Wire the door so it's against one of those, the plate gate, so that way it always is open. And he'll just get in the habit of sleeping in there. There are several benefits to this. Number one, it is a safe place to put the dog when you can't supervise him, so he doesn't get in a habit of chewing power cords or wood or your furniture. Number two, it helps him practice being alone. When you do set that up, I would get cardboard or something and block one side of it so we can be sitting in this room and he can't hear us, but he cannot see us. Now, if he whimpers in there and we let him out when he's whimpering, that's going to teach him that whimpering or crying or barking is the way to get my way. So when we put him in there, we make sure we always take him out for a potty break before we put him in there whenever possible, unless we put him in there, the description I described in the above video. So we know that he doesn't have to go. And then put him in there, and if he whimpers or whines, he just stays in there, because if you go over there, he's learning that's the way to get my attention. After a minute or two, he'll just settle down. There's plenty of great toys in there. If he wants to run around, he's got room to run around. If he wants to sleep, he can sleep. So it'll help him practice being alone and prevent him from ever developing a case of separation anxiety, which is really, really important. Let me see. After feeding him for about 2 months, maybe 3 months, you should be able to transition to feeding him food in his bowl. Now, when you go to feeding him food in his bowl, the human should eat first. So you don't have to eat a real meal. Just get a chip or carrot.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So would you recommend feeding him only out of the toys for the 2 months or out of the bowls?
Only out of the toys for the first couple months.
Okay.
That way he gets really used to it, and it'll slow down his eating. He already eats fairly slow. But then when we transition to bowls, if he eats really fast, just put a little bit in the bowl. Message me and I'll let you know. I'll give you some tricks if he does it. But I don't think he'll do it, because that's the nice thing of the treat toys. He gets a little bit of food, and then he has to work for it. He gets a little bit of food, so they don't gorge themselves and eat everything. Sometimes they'll throw up if they eat too much too fast. So feed him out of treat toys exclusively for the first 2 or 3 months, and then transition him to a bowl. Put food in the bowl. Make sure you eat something first, and he sees you eat something. 5 more bites. Then put food in the bowl. And then if he goes and sniffs it and walks away, as soon as he walks more than 5 feet away, pick up the bowl, dump the food out of it, and put the empty bowl back down. Don't entice him to eat. He needs to eat. You're asking him to do something. The guardian here is. I've seen people beg their dog to eat, and that puts the dog in the driver's seat. No, you want to eat? Great. If you don't eat, if you don't walk away from the bowl, you're telling me you're not interested in eating, so the food goes away until the next meal. And that way, the only time there's food in the bowl is like a couple minutes a day. That makes it a very special occurrence, and he'll want to make sure that he takes advantage of it, because just like driving on the 405, it's very rare that you can actually drive without people stopping no traffic. I'd also like to see the guardian get some, so he's chewing on my feet, on my pant leg, so I redirected him. I'd like to see the guardian feeding him some goat's milk. Make sure you do it early in the day so he doesn't get diarrhea. And you could also give him cottage cheese or canned pumpkin if he does get diarrhea to firm up his stool. Some dogs become lactose intolerant around 6 months, so if that's the case, you might just go with just the canned pumpkin. But I've talked to some people who has dogs who are allergic to pumpkin as well. But if you give them the goat's milk too late in the day, sometimes they will, when they sleep, it's too rich and they'll get diarrhea. So what I would do is get him, usually he's probably going to get a shot of it a day, do it in the morning, and that way his body has a chance to process it. But it's very dense and full of good ingredients that will be beneficial and helpful to him. Let me see, what else do we want to go over? What am I forgetting?
I think we talked about like chewing things, or
I did
like
the video for that.
garbage, like getting to garbage, getting
Okay,
to
so
curtains.
for garbage, things that you see him interested in chewing, we want to remove from his access. Like the blinds, the Guardian has blinds in their floor drapes that go all the way down to the floor. Well, that's very irresistible for him, and it's good, easy chewing. Probably lace or something nice and delicate. So what we do is just fold them up, get a baby pin, and just take them out of his reach for about 2 or 3 months, so he just doesn't get a habit of it. And then, if you actually put him down and he starts going after him again, then put him back up, and each day lower them like 1/4 of an inch. So he gradually sees it, and eventually they'll be back on the floor, but it's so progressive and gradual he won't notice it. Make sure you put a puppy pad in the play area, and once you put it in there, put it as far away from his kennel as possible, and don't move it if he starts peeing on it. If you move it in the play area, sometimes he'll start peeing in the other area. Let me see, what else did we go over? Take him to the vet a couple times and just go in there and just let him give him treats. When you're getting when he gets neutered, again, I would prefer, my preference is around 9 to 12 months for males if possible. Now, if he starts lifting his leg, marking, barking, getting aggressive, then you might do it a little bit earlier than a year. We want to make sure, obviously, he doesn't get around any unaltered females during that period of time, because we don't want any unauthorized puppies. And when if you use the laser, like I said, it'll be a bloodless surgery and it will heal a little bit faster. I also, when you do shots, I like to separate the shots and do shots one at a time. After neutering him, remember, he can still impregnate a dog for 6 weeks, and he'll still have the hormones for 6 weeks. So plan accordingly for that. Getting him bully sticks. These are bully bites by the Natural Dog Company. Make sure you put "the" when you're searching for it. If you get them from them, these are the odor-free both ways, and believe me, you don't want to smell the other odors. But giving him one of these, you shouldn't get more than one of these a day, but this is a great thing for him to be interested in. We didn't talk about it, but you can also get a Kong. Kongs are round. You know what Kong is?
Yeah, I have a baby one that I put a little bit of peanut butter in.
Peanut butter, awesome. Now you can also, one of the things you can do is put peanut butter in there and get him used to eating the peanut butter, but then you can start freezing them. So now it's harder to get it out. It doesn't get the peanut butter on your floor so much, and then when he starts teething, that's also something good that he'll like to chew on.
Yeah, it only takes them like a minute to get all the peanut butter out.
Do you fill it all the way up?
No.
I'll fill it all the way up. Their tongue is very long. He'll be able to get it all the way through.
Oh, wow, okay.
Make sure anything you like that you stuff, make sure it has 2 holes. Otherwise it can pressurize when he's sucking on it. He can get his tongue stuck. Kongs will be. What I do is I take the Tricky Trainer chicken liver treats, and I put one of those in first. Then I fill it full of peanut butter. So he's got to go through all the peanut butter to get the treat at the bottom. Now, if he doesn't like, for the puppy playroom, make sure, I don't know where it is, buddy. I don't know where you're digging for. It's not down there. Oh, here it is, buddy. For the puppy play pen, never lift him up over it. Always make him go through the gate. Otherwise, he'll learn to climb it. And we don't want him to climb it because he can get his paw caught and flip over. That can be problematic. We just want him to learn that it's just where he goes. I'm trying to, other things we went over.
We went over like the nail thing.
The nails. So we want to flip up his ears. We want to flip up his gums. Look at his rear end. Look at his pee-pee. And we want to manipulate his digits on a regular basis. So he's used to us doing those. Those are things your vet's going to do. We want him just used to it. Now, if he doesn't like you doing this, sometimes I'll do, we talked about creating a conditional emotional response. Message me if you want me to send you a quick video where we cover how to get him to like having his nails done. I like doing it with a Dremel, but it's important that we do his nails at least weekly, especially now, because if they get too long, they can affect the growth of the bones in his paws and get an early onset of arthritis, which we don't want to deal with. We want to be a good, spry, healthy guy. Let me see. When you're out walking around with him, have plenty of treats. If people want to pet him, that's actually awesome. I would like go to, you might not want to go to Venice, but go somewhere where you're going to see a lot of people. And people, oh, what a cute puppy. Can I pet him? Would you like him a treat? Always one up them and then give them a treat. So now I've seen a lot of little dogs when they're held like this. Somebody comes near and they're, sorry, buddy, I didn't want to spook you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, I'll pat your belly a little bit for that one. How about that? So what we want him to learn is when people approach, they're going to give you something special, a good, positive experience, and so then he'll like it when I'm being held and somebody comes up and approaches him. Let me see, what else? What else am I forgetting to summarize?
Jumping up and barking.
So the jumping up, oh, he just sat.
Sit.
Good job of rewarding. So the jumping up, like I said, if he jumps up and we pet him, we're training him to jump up on us to ask us for attention. So instead, what we want to do is redirect him. So he's chewing on, he's got one of my laces in his mouth. I'm not going to give it to him right away. I'm going to make him earn this, like I talked about in the other video. Now the little laser pendant, get a little chain, get a cute chain, and just get a little one and attach it. Go to Amazon or wherever, find just a cheap little one, and just have it attached there so you always have it. If he starts chewing the wrong thing, you can use the carrots trick that I talked about in the above video, but if you just pull it out and you run it, when I do it, run it around the corner and before you turn it off. So when he turns the corner, he thinks it kept on going and he'll go looking for it further. But redirecting your dog's attention is a very good strategy that you're going to use a lot for him as a puppy. Go to Amazon. He needs a lot more toys. Like I talked about the toys that you got above, there's on Quest Ed, there's a list of toys broken down, but make sure there's plenty of toys in there. And again, have a box, like a long skinny box. Every day take one toy. You should probably have about 20 toys in there. And then, oh yes. So again, went back to chewing on my shoes. So we're gonna redirect him, and then we should pick up the object that he was chewing on so he doesn't go back to it, which is what he did there earlier. Yes. You're listening to all these things. He's taking notes. He's like, I'm going to foil all of these strategies. Let me see. Again, for barking. So we want to teach him to bark. So what we want to do for that is every time he barks, we want to say maybe woof or speak or whatever the word is you want to do. So he barks and we say the word woof. And then once we get to the point where we say woof and he speaks on command, then the next step is we say speak and he woof. And then you say silence and give him the treat and say silence. So you're saying it essentially twice. So, and he's like, what did I just get that for? I didn't do anything. That's a hard concept for dogs to get. So at first just a half a second of silence and he gets the treat. Then we go to 1 second. Then we go to 2 seconds. And then 4 seconds. And we gradually keep on elongating it. And then now we've put in context and he understands what sit or what quiet means or silence or whatever the word is that you use. And then when he's barking, we say silence, he knows what we mean. Now, anything your dog is doing when you pet it is what we're reinforcing. Anything your dog does in your presence that you don't disagree with, you're saying, I give it 2 thumbs up. Now, there's a catch to this. If your dog is barking, he's trying to get your attention. So if you disagree with him, it's validating what he wants. Now, the guardian actually knows psychology, and so she actually, when he's doing that before, would just recuse herself on the couch or leave the area. That's a negative punishment, the 4th quadrant of operant conditioning, which you can use. But I would rather redirect you into, when he's doing something you don't want, give him a command of something you do want and reward him for doing that item. And then if possible, like I said, take the shoe away or whatever it is so he doesn't have access to that again. When you come home and he's excited, don't pet him. If he's anything he's doing when you're petting him is what you're rewarding. And this can include fear, anxiety, stress, happiness. Even though we think of excitement as a happy, positive attribute, it's still something that he would do. It's an unbalanced state of mind. And when they're out of balance is when they're going to be most apt to make mistakes. Oh, yes, you're just a rambunctious little one, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm going to get a yelp if you keep biting at me. But you haven't done it, which is good. And that's the thing is these problems, you just notice that they just stop happening. You'll just forget that he ever did those things. That's great. Anything else I'm forgetting? Oh, get some, make sure that my eyes are not good enough to read the label, but when you use stuff to clean up the potty, make sure it has an enzyme on the label. Usually, that's nature's miracle, but usually it's like big bold letters, enzyme. Otherwise, you're just covering it up and they can smell through the cover and then it'll smell like urine. I'm going to go back and pee on here again. So we want to make sure we use the enzyme to get it done. For the spot bot, if you use the Oxy the way that they tell you to do it, you'll have a big white circle of really white carpet. So what I do is just use hot water in the spot bot. Maybe a little bit of soap or maybe a drop or 2 of Oxy. You probably won't need it. And do it on a test pattern somewhere where, if you can. And then make sure, another little tip for the spot bot, always empty the container after it sucks it up. Some people will leave it in there and it kind of makes it nasty and it'll smell and it stains in there and it'll leak a little bit if it's there for long. So every time after you do it, dump out the part that sucks it up off the carpet. Anything else? Make sure the human's eating first. I went over feeding. Trying to think.
You don't want me leash training him really that much yet.
Yeah, at this point, we don't want to activate his opposition reflex. If you go to the puppy class and they're telling you to pull him, say, you know what, I have a behaviorist that I worked with, and he talked about the opposition reflex, and he said he'd really rather not, and he has some videos he can send me that I'd rather work on that. So just kind of be polite and recuse yourself from that section. Just say, I don't want to pull him because he's going to pull back, and he's going to get better at it. So, I'm guessing you'll find a good place. And remind me if you do find a good place, because I have a lot of people that I have puppies I'd like to recommend to. Otherwise, I'm going to start teaching puppy class out here myself. But we don't want to, sometimes they get a little bit pissy. And sometimes I'm different. Dog behaviors are usually good with people and they're good with animals. Most trainers are great with animals and not very good with people. So if you get somebody who's a little bit awkward in the class, but they seem to be really good with your dog, give them a pass for that because they're using their gift. Even though they're a little bit odd, you have a resource that you can reach out to if you have any questions in the future. Anything else that we went over? The furniture, I usually allow the dog in the furniture until it can get on the furniture on its own. At that point, I block it for a period of time until I'm ready. One last thing I'm going to show you, if I can find my little bag of treats here. I'm going to use, can I use that blanket just temporarily?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to show you how you can create a command for a dog bed. This is too busy, the pattern. Their dogs.
We'll leave this one.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. That's even better. I'll be right back. This is not a bad dog bed, but there's a lot of texture in here, and that makes the detail a little bit harder to see. I prefer, and I get dog beds on Groupon because I find it's the cheapest, best place to do it. So what I do, the way I teach a dog to go on the dog bed, you're already there, beach. Come up with a unique name for each dog bed. Maybe this is beach, the one over there is mountain, and the one in the bedroom is something else. Now, if I say mountain, he knows to go over there. Beach means to go here. So the way I do this is to let him see that I have a treat, toss it on there. Now you can see he's having problems seeing it. He's standing on top of it. The ones that I like to get on Groupon are not the hairy ones like this. It's more like your couch pattern or fabric, and it's solid. Get a solid color. We want him to be able to see it immediately. So this one, he's gonna not only. This is actually a really bad dog bed because it's gonna promote chewing on tangly things, which is already irresistible for dogs. Once he's an adult and he's not chewing, then I would put this in the closet and come back to this. But I just dropped it there. It dropped in there, so it forces him to chew on this, and this is practice at chewing fabric, which we don't want him to.
And he chews my hair.
Yeah, and he chews your hair and your drapes. So that's just almost irresistible for dogs. So I'll pantomime and say, do this. I don't want to destroy it. It's a nice dog bed. You can put a blanket on top of it to protect him from doing that, but I would just keep this one for when he's a little bit older. So what I do is the first one is I toss the treat on there, let him see me toss it. Remember, dogs' eyes are very good for movement, so if you toss a treat, it'll be more attractive to him. When he tosses it, he's going to come over here. Whenever he gets a treat, he should hear the command after the treat goes in his mouth. So as soon as he licks it up, you say beach, or whatever the word is for your command word. And then he comes back over here, and I toss another one on the beach, and say beach, or whatever it is, the word is. So I do that with about 5 or 10 treats, and now he's just running back and forth like he is now. So that's the first stage, and this is to entice him to go there. Second way I do it is I leave a treat there. Now the carpet color that I would like, or the
bed color.
Bed, thank you. Would be like a light cream or not a white, but I like the ones on Groupon that are almost like a cushion. It's sponge inside it, so you can unzip the exterior and wash it if he gets the shell dirty. And it holds its rigidity. This one, if I put one in there, sometimes the one like duvet covers, they slip through the cracks and he can't see it. He can see that very easily. So if you leave, the next stage is, the first thing I do is toss the treat. The second one is I just leave the treat on the dog bed. Don't point it out to him. And he'll come in the room and do it when he's gone. I smell chicken liver or whatever it is. And he'll go looking around for it. Don't point it out, let him find it on his own. Then when he discovers it, that's a boost of confidence. And when he discovers it, then you say the word beach or whatever his command word is for it. Almost look like you're pottying on there. Just a weird stance.
Yeah, he does that.
Yes. So you're rewarding him a second way for going onto the dog bed. The third way I do it is I would go like this, lead him onto it, and then say sit. beach, and pop the treat in his mouth and say the word. Now, these are the 3 ways I do it to entice him to go there. After a while, he'll go there on his own. So right there, beach. I can pet him, I can give him a treat, but I'm doing these after he does it already on his own.
Yeah.
But it's very helpful to be able to tell the dog to go to a place or a location. That those directional commands are very important. Now, this is a collar. It's the first time I put the collar on him, or is it the first time he's had a collar?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's scratching at it. It's normal for him to scratch at it. I used a martingale collar like I talked about earlier because they have problems breathing. But this might, because of this extra loop, after it gets not, right now it's new, so it's kind of holding it. After a while, it might flop down. He might get his paw caught in it, or it might get caught on something. So what I would probably do is only use this when you're walking him or you're taking a puppy class or something like that, and get him a regular collar if you want, or if you want to use a harness. I just wouldn't use the harness for a walk because it's going to promote pulling.
Okay.
Right? Remember to yell, ah! Yelp like a little girl, and develop that bite inhibition. It's very important. He's not gonna be a huge dog, but I still want him biting people. Anything else I'm forgetting?
Not that I can think of.
All right. So now, if you have questions or things we didn't go over, things we did, and you forgot, and I forgot doing this video, I want you to call me or text me. I don't care if it's 7 years after we work together. I probably won't remember. Text me a picture of him. Hey, I live in Brentwood, and we worked on. This is Milo, and this is what we worked on. I'm happy to help. Don't email me, don't Facebook me. You can, but I see those very late, and it'll take me a long time to get to those. As a client, I want to be able to get back to you right away. And also loud noises. So if you can get a pot or pan or any sort of noise that he's going to hear on a regular basis. We're right off Sunset, so we hear a lot of crazy noises, sirens. But we want him to hear. I have an upside down trash can lid in the puppy class I teach in the Midwest. Dogs careen into it and they crash it and it scares them. They run away. After all, they're jumping on that thing as they're going by. We've desensitized them. They're no longer fearful of it. Now remember, he is ending his critical socialization period shortly. So he is going to be not quite as amicable and open to new experiences in a couple weeks. So that's okay. We just need to put a little bit more work. Remember, if he's got the zoomies. Remember, if he doesn't want to walk with you, if you have him on a leash, toss a treat a foot in front of him. When he gets that one, toss a treat in front of him. Carrot him forward rather than pulling him on the leash. Yes, I see the tongue coming out for the first time. But if you have questions or problems, make sure you let me know. QuestEd, go to QuestEd because there's a thing on potty training. There's a thing on carrots and feeding and toys and all the rest of the stuff.
Awesome.
What do you say, Milo?
He says that sounds good. I had a question. I forgot one more thing.
Okay.
So what do you think the play schedules for times should be again? You said not to play with him rigorously for extended periods of time.
Well, play is okay, but after 15 minutes of heavy play, that's typically a time when they're going to have an accident. So remember the 3 times that they're going to need to go: right after waking up, 5 minutes after eating, and 15 minutes after play, like this. So if he's running around with zoomies like this, immediately tell Siri, give me a 15-minute timer. I wouldn't even say 15. I'd say give me a 10-minute timer. And then as soon as he slows down, all right, Milo, we're going to go outside.
Okay.
We're going to go potty. Oh, for the stairs, find some low stairs that are closed and put him on about the 5th step from the top. It's easier for them to go up. And then just go sit at the top of the stairs. If you have to, just sit on the top stair. Don't encourage him. Let him work up the screw. Encourage himself. If he doesn't come, you might get up and start walking up the 2nd flight of stairs. And sometimes, I want to be left alone, and he'll run up the stairs. And once he runs up a couple times, he'll be fine. And then he can do the same thing about the 4th or 5th step from the bottom, and then start moving away. The fear of being left alone is usually greater than the fear of stairs. But I would try to do that in the next week, because we really want to get him used to the stairs while we're still in that open, critical socialization period. Milo, come here. I need you to finish up this video. Yes. This is cute little Milo, and this is his roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog, only sometimes you mean it. Right, Milo?